Let's dive right into the aftermath. The Arizona Cardinals could not get the job done over the weekend against the Washington Commanders. Although defensively, they put a show on, but unfortunately, the offense couldn't get their act together. Let's get into what head coach Jonathan Gannon and quarterback Joshua Dobbs said about this weekend's performance. Let's dive right into what we learned over the weekend. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. Follow me on all my social platforms. Everything will be in the description below. Please don't be one of these guys that love to hover around the channel. Y'all, subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. It helps the channel grow out tremendously, and obviously smashing the like button doesn't hurt either. But first, a word from our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you are a fan of fantasy football or fantasy any sports, this is probably one of the best apps to do so. They have so many different fantasy leagues going on daily, weekly. Any chance you want to build the best roster and try to win yourself some money, Underdog Fantasy is the best place to do so. Right now, if you use promo code AZSF, it will match your deposit up to $100. Download the app today and try to win yourself some money, but please, gamble responsibly. Alright, let's dive right into the aftermath and what happened over the weekend for the Cardinals versus the Washington Commanders. Now, I want to go ahead and stick with the offensive side of the ball, and then we're going to dive into the defensive side of the ball a little later on in the video. Now, we did hear from Jonathan Gannon pertaining to how he felt, right, this weekend went for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's dive right into it.
Yeah, I thought he did good. He operated. We had a couple good drives there. You know, he took care of the ball. The last two were unfortunate, but that's going to happen. But I thought our operation was pretty clean. He made some throws. Operated well. I thought he did a good job.
Jonathan Gannon has come out here with very politically correct, right, responses out here. Now, you don't really expect Jonathan Gannon to come out here and throw people under the bus, right? He's not Bruce Arians, right? He is seeming to be a guy that's a player's coach, but obviously has a little bit more intensity comparing to our last regime, right? So that's definitely a good thing. Now, what Jonathan Gannon has said is the fact that he liked what he's seen, right? You know, some spurts here and there. He felt like the groove of it all, but he kind of honed down to momentum, right? We need to take advantage of the momentum swings, and obviously the Arizona Cardinals didn't do so. Now, obviously the big talking point coming off this weekend is the fact that Joshua Dobbs didn't have a great game out altogether. Now, that's kind of one thing that I feared, is that coming into the season, I felt like deep down the Cardinals were going to favor Joshua Dobbs because of the connection with him and Drew Petzing, right? Whether it's the familiarity of the offense or knowing the verbiage or whatever it is. That's one thing that I feared, because let's be honest here. Joshua Dobbs just came in here 2 weeks ago, or at least a little over 2 weeks ago now, right? It was very obvious that he wasn't 100% confident with the offense. Now, yes, another week under his belt, right? Another week with practice and reps with these wide receivers is probably going to get him to the level that we hope this offense can become. But as of right now, that last week, I honestly felt like we kind of went out there and we were like, let's wing it, right? Let's go out here and wing it. Let's throw Joshua Dobbs out there because he's a veteran. He has a connection with Drew Petzing. But I don't think the performance was that great. Or actually, I don't think it was great at all. I think it was a bad performance. I think if we just scored a touchdown on the offensive side of the ball, we could have won this game. Joshua Dobbs, in this game, his stats reads as follows: 21 of 30, 132 yards. Had some crucial moments too where there was costly turnovers, right? And you can blame that on Joshua Dobbs, you can blame that on the offensive line, but it just didn't work. Our offense didn't work at all. We were sold the idea that this was the best route because of the connection. I honestly think that 2 weeks, it's really hard to determine that this is going to be your guy. Like I said, next week we might be singing a different song, right? We might be singing a different song next week. I hope so, because whatever happened this weekend on offense, it's got to change. You can't expect to win games like that. You truly can't. Now, let's dive right into what Joshua Dobbs had to say over the weekend. Let's dive into it.
No, I mean, it's still football, right? There's no challenges. You know, natural communication comes throughout the game. Obviously, guys are still getting to know me. I'm still getting to know the guys, and it's different when the bullets are flying. So
But no, there wasn't challenges, right? The challenges are the 11 men across from you and the defense that they're throwing at you. That's the biggest challenge, and you're trying to move the ball. So
now, obviously, Joshua Dobbs is coming in here and obviously putting the blame on himself. Right? A veteran quarterback usually does stuff like that, where he puts it on his shoulders and says that I need to get better. That's the truth. He does need to get better, right? But one thing that I really want to highlight is the fact that he mentioned the fact that one of the biggest challenges is the fact that he needs to have chemistry with these wide receivers. Yeah, that's exactly what I was preaching all last week, was the fact that yes, you might know the offense, but if you don't have the chemistry down with the actual speed of the game, with these wide receivers that are super speedy, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out at all. And this is kind of what we're dealing with right now. So it's hard to put the full blame on Joshua Dobbs, although yes, the performance was not that great. But it's really kind of also hard to say, let's not roll with them, right? We're kind of in a really weird situation. I know there's some Cardinal fans out there, including myself. I really want to see a different quarterback, but I do know deep down that we're going to most likely be running with Joshua Dobbs. And I would be very surprised if Jonathan Gannon would make the change. As of right now, I do believe they will be rolling with Joshua Dobbs. I just hope whatever we saw this last week on offense, it gets fixed, because it just wasn't working at all. Let's dive into some highlights, right? Some good aftermath stuff, because let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, we had so many people against the Arizona Cardinals, not just Washington Commander fans. No, not at all. The whole nation almost felt like the Arizona Cardinals were going to be absolute dog water. They're going to be terrible. They're not even going to compete with a Washington Commanders. And let me tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Arizona Cardinals competed, especially the defensive side of the ball. Man, they came out here and balled out. Now, before we talk about the defense, I just want to give a huge kudos to Matt Prater. I've been very, very critical on him and always missing kicks, right? But he nailed all these kicks down, right? Field goals, PATs. So got to give kudos to where kudos due. Special teams did very well. There was a really short punt from Cooney, but he fixed it. Everything seemed good. So special teams, I'm not really worried about that. But the defense, oh my goodness. I truly do feel like Kazir White set the tone. Now, yes, that hard hit really cost the Arizona Cardinals some really bad penalties, right? At one point, we got 67 yards on penalties on one specific drive, and it really helped the Washington Commanders get back and get a touchdown. The Arizona Cardinals beat themselves a lot in this game. Now, what do you expect, right? Week 1, quarterback that was just traded to us, right? But I do truly feel like this defense can be super, super special. We got some dogs on this defense, yo. We got some people that truly, truly want to compete and truly want to win. Obviously, Budda Baker, great, right? But I don't think even Budda Baker was even a highlight reel in this game. It all came down to Zaven Collins with a fumble recovery and an interception, and a very, very fantastic interception as well. Now, Kazir White, this man, he doesn't care who he's hitting. This man hits hard. Dennis Gardick, which I was kind of critical of at one point as well, because I was kind of one of those guys that were like, I want to see him do it again, right? I'm not completely sold on the idea of him being our starting outside linebacker. I'm going to shut up, because Dennis Gardick, Dennis the Barbarian, this man did very, very well. And I really hope that it just continues and he can stay healthy through the season, because I want to see more Dennis Gardick and I want to see more Zaven Collins. They absolutely shined. Continuing to talk about our defense, our defensive line surprised me. Now, Licky Fotu, yes, got a sack. I think he played pretty decent, right? I know he had some, a lot of naysayers coming into the season. A lot of people not really confident with him. Got a sack under his belt. Carlos Watkins, a sack under his belt. Victor Demichici, sack under his belt. And not only that, he was the one that actually punched that fumble out and allowed Zaven Collins to get that fumble recovery. So there was a lot to like. Marco Wilson didn't look as soft as past years. It looks like he's taking that extra step, right? And that's something that you want to see, right? Being a young kid that we got in the middle parts of the draft, possibly being our CB1. And he had a tall task ahead of him. He had to shut down Terry McLaurin. I think he did a pretty darn good job. Now, there was a really, really obvious PI call that was called on him. And I think he just realized that he got beat and he didn't want a touchdown. So he just kind of risked it. And we kind of know the history from there, right? But I do think overall Marco Wilson did a good job. Ketrell Clark, good job, right? And there was one guy here that I didn't really speak about at all. But man, this guy right here, Kayvon Wallace, 3 tackles, 4 assists. Don't let those stats fool you. This man is a baller. We just got him. Like I believe we just got him. Like signing him off the waivers. Crazy how big of an impact he's already giving. And it's not just like the stat sheet, but what he's doing on the field, right? The hard hits, the being cognizant of your instincts, right? What we saw in that small sample size from Kayvon Wallace, I like it. I like it. The defensive side of the ball, man, impressed. Absolutely impressed. And I hope we finally get some respect, because I truly do think that this defense did a really good job. I think Sam Howell might be better than this game showed, but that's a tribute to this defense. Causing pressure, right? Always being in his face, hurrying him up. This is a tribute to this defense. Now, obviously, this is a one-game sample size, and I truly want to see what the Arizona Cardinals do against the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. What is that team going to do, right? That's a big question. So, I'm excited. I truly am. I think there's a lot of hope and a lot of optimism for the Arizona Cardinals defense, because what people originally thought of the Arizona Cardinals pretty boy football, that Kazir White acquisition from free agency, that was a huge win. And this was a player I didn't really know too much about. So I'm so glad that Jonathan Gannon stuck to his guns and brought his Eagle guy over here, because that man is balling. Doing a very, very good job. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the Arizona Cardinals? Do you feel like Joshua Dobbs is going to get another opportunity? Or do you think it's Clayton Tune time? What do you think the Arizona Cardinals are going to do moving forward? Are we going to continue this trend with this magnificent defense? Are we going to continue to struggle on offense? Let me know here in the comments below. I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cards.